Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. AT&T made some great ads back in 1993, where they tried to predict the future. Some were right, but some was very wrong in how it would be implemented because they did not see the new technologies like the internet, the smartphone, and thought we would still be using faxes today. So why am I talking about this? Well, this is kind of how I see many of the Wall Street analysts. They are trying to predict the future of Tesla and Elon Musk other companies, but they are not seeing the future technologies that Tesla will make and how that will change the world. They are trying to predict the future by looking at today's or yesterday's technologies. So just like AT&T, they will be off the mark and probably miss out on Tesla's future valuation again. So let me show you what Wall Street analysts are getting wrong here and what kind of tsunami is coming for us. And let's dive right in. So, in my humble opinion, Tesla's valuation is going to the moon. But why do normal old-school Wall Street investors have such a problem seeing it? Not all, but most are not seeing the future we do that is following Tesla very closely. We are, of course, only focusing on Elon Musk companies, so we, of course, have an advantage because we don't spread our knowledge out on many different areas, but focus on a few companies that Elon Musk is running. I think where most people get it wrong is because we are about to embark on a journey that we have never seen before. The disruption of AI and robotics and autonomous vehicles is so disruptive that most people don't even have the imagination to see where this is going. And if you are a normal analyst that is looking at Tesla's automotive margins and think PE ratio and earning per share, they are not going to get this one right. Just like we see with someone like Gary Black, that, like I've said many times before, he knows more about investing and stock options than I will ever do. But he's still looking at Tesla's full self-driving features and comparing it to the likes of Waymo and Uber's business model and drawing conclusions about Tesla's future potential from those companies today. But you cannot compare it to either of them. Tesla's Cybercab is something completely different. You might look at Waymo and the Cybercab and think they are just two versions of the same thing, a Robotaxi. But there is basically nothing comparable about the two business model or the technology of the software and the manufacturing technologies. Because, oh yes, Waymo does not manufacture anything. They buy cars from car companies and fit them with sensors and their software. So like I have made a whole video about, and I will leave a link to one down below if you want to make a deeper dive into why the comparison just doesn't make sense whatsoever. But the bottom line is, it comes down to Tesla's software that will work everywhere and Waymo's that will never be able to do that. Never. Tesla can make a Cybercab for around $15,000, whereas Waymo's cost $100,000. And when Tesla has solved full self-driving, it is solved. It will be able to drive everywhere. So from that day on, no matter if that happens in 2025 or 2026 or even 2027 for that matter, Tesla doesn't really have to do much more than just keep the engine running. With their fleet of cars feeding data back to the mothership that autonomously go through all the data and train the AI brain to become even better. But all Tesla has to do is basically just pump out more affordable Cybercabs. Waymo already has autonomous vehicles, but they can't just pump out more vehicles because they will always have to continue their very slow and expensive and complicated progress everywhere their robotaxis need to drive. So right now, they have robotaxis in 7 cities, and that is after 7 years. And remember, it's not even all of those 7 cities, but some part of those cities is covered But in the US, there is roughly 350 cities that have over 100,000 citizens. So if Waymo do not speed up their progress, which we have not really seen over the last 7 years, it will take Waymo 350 years just to cover those areas in those 350 cities that have over 100,000 citizens. So that does not include all the other smaller cities. And then Waymo's Robotaxis can't even still drive between them, but only in their little geofenced area in the cities. I simply don't understand how anyone can look at these two companies, Waymo and Tesla, and compare them to each other. Waymo's system will never work like a general solution. Tesla's will. Tesla's solution is an order of magnitude more cost-effective than Waymo's, and why Waymo is still not profitable. So that people like Gary Black and other Wall Street guys are comparing Tesla to Waymo tells me all about them that I need to know. They do not understand the difference here and what is coming, and will not get it before Tesla has thousands of cybercabs on the street and can show revenue and profit from the cybercab fleet, so they will miss the boat once again. They are looking at Waymo, which I call today's or yesterday's technologies, and trying to look out in the future, not seeing the new technology that is coming. But what I keep hammering is what people don't seem to look at all, and that is the pace of progress. I have talked about it before, how people have a tendency to look out in the future with today's technology, and they will always be wrong because they didn't count on the new technologies like the internet or the smartphone or cloud computing or streaming service and so much more. I think the best example I know of is AT&T, that back in 1993 made these great commercial called You Will, where they showed off all these great futures with all this new tech in them, and how AT&T will be the one that brings it to you. So to their credit, they did get very close on some services, which was very cool, but they also got many wrong, especially in how it would play out, because they used today's technology to try to invent how it would look like in the future, like FaceTime calls in a phone booth, not understanding that the smartphone would come, and that was where we would use these FaceTime calls, and phone booth would not even exist anymore. Or sending a fax from the beach on something that looked like an iPad, not understanding that faxes would disappear, and it would of course be an email or a message we would send from that device instead, or using credit cards inside the cars to pay for toll booth. So these are just some great examples of how wrong we get the future when we try to look at it with yesterday's technologies. And that is kind of what people like Gary is doing when they're trying to predict Tesla's business in the future by comparing them to today's companies, and therefore today's or yesterday's technologies, and don't see the huge potential for humanoid robots either. But we are talking about two of the biggest disruptions we will probably ever see in human history: AI and robotics, and Tesla is one of the leaders in both. But Wall Street hardly gives it any value. I know there is a chance that it might not happen, but I think the likelihood of Tesla being able to solve all of this is much bigger than Tesla failing on it. And we have some of the biggest names in the industry pointing at Tesla as the leader. Google CEO, Uber's former CEO, Commerce founder, Nvidia CEO. So the giants in the industry is saying Tesla is the leader. So I don't really care too much about what Gary or any other Wall Street analyst think about Tesla when the tech leaders are pointing at Tesla as the leader. And we can just watch what Elon is doing right now with XAI and Tesla, and how he's revolutionizing how we're building GPU clusters that the other tech giants didn't even think was possible, which really shows us how far ahead Elon Musk and his companies are. Once again, doing the impossible. So building that 100,000 coherent GPU cluster was apparently impossible. So again, if people had to look out in the future with yesterday's technology, they would have said Tesla would only be able to make a coherent GPU cluster of 30,000, and it would take them about a year to build it. So Tesla would have to spend 3 years putting up GPU clusters and then have 3 coherent GPU clusters of 30,000 units each. So 90,000 units in total after 3 years. That would have been a very rational assumption only 1 year ago, even a few months ago. But here we are in the future, and Tesla built 100,000 coherent GPU cluster in 19 days. 20 times faster than anyone thought was possible. So now looking 3 years out in the future, it's more about how many GPUs can Tesla and xAI get their hands on, because in theory, they could put up 2 million GPUs in a year, and they might even be able to make them coherent, as Elon already is talking about 1 million coherent GPU clusters. All of this, no one thought was remotely possible just a few months ago, and would have been completely off the mark in predicting this. But all of this is going to accelerate from here on out, because one of the disruptions we are talking about is, of course, artificial intelligence, AI. And we will create something that is probably as smart as a human already here in 2025. And maybe even 100 times more intelligent in 2026. So that fact alone is going to speed up things, because something that is 100 times more intelligent than us will probably be able to come up with even more innovative inventions that we haven't even thought about. And again, Elon Musk companies are not just leading in the space, they are so far ahead it's hard to even see the competition, as Elon can put up what the others just a few months ago thought was impossible. He can put them up 20 times faster than anyone else in the industry. And that is why someone like Nvidia and AMD has invested in xAI, because they see what is happening, that no one else is keeping up with Elon Musk in AI. Today, yes, but not looking a few years out in the future. And we will get Grok 3 any day now, and with that we will see the lead xAI has been able to get over OpenAI in just 2 years of existence. Just 2 years ago, there was not a company called xAI. And that is what people are not seeing, the pace of innovation that Elon Musk companies have, that they have gone from nothing with xAI to the one that Nvidia is investing in, and outpacing the rest of the industry 20-1. And we see Tesla's full self-driving version 13, but again, it's not the mind-blowing drives that it's doing we need to watch. It is the improvements we need to check out and see how the improvement is accelerating. So even though version 12 has gone from nothing to blow our minds in less than 2 years as well, the biggest leap was the last big update that was 5 to 6 times better than the last one, and we should expect something that is at least 5 to 6 times better again during the first half of 2025, because it is now training on a bigger AI training cluster than ever before, and Tesla has even more data than in 2025, because they now have 1.8 million more cars on the road than 1 year ago, collecting data for Tesla. And they have Cortex up and running now that should be close to 90,000 GPUs by now. So the progress in 2025 is going to be off the chart compared to 2024 that blew our mind. So we can't even compare what we saw in 2024 to 2025. We have to think bigger once again this year. And don't forget, Tesla is not only working on the brain for the cars, but for the humanoid robots. But no one is really putting any value on this yet. And we even have analysts that still want to call Tesla a car company, even though we have lost quite a few of them through 2024, as it has become so obvious that even most of Wall Street knows that Tesla is not just a car company anymore. Because have you ever seen GM's 90,000 coherent GPU cluster? No? What about Waymo's? No? What about Figure AI? No? What about, well, you take your pick. There is no one else that has a 90,000 coherent GPU cluster but Tesla and xAI, because the rest thought it was impossible. But why is all this so important to understand? Well, with the Cortex GPU cluster, Tesla has significantly enhanced its AI training capabilities. This cluster allows for rapid iteration on AI models, reducing the time from data collected to deployment in vehicles and robots. This speed in training enables Tesla to keep ahead of competition in terms of AI development, particularly in scenarios where real-time data feedback is critical, which is both critical for full self-driving cars and humanoid robots. So no, we cannot compare what Tesla is about to unleash onto the world to anything that is running today, because we have never seen anything like what is about to hit the world. No one thought AI would be improving as fast as we have seen in 2024, and it will be even faster in 2025. No one saw the progress of Tesla's humanoid robots, which many thought was just another stock pump and would never be made, just like so many other things Tesla has done through the years. And no one, not even people in the industry, saw Elon Musk companies making coherent GPU clusters as fast and as big as they have done. No one. Not even Tesla optimists like myself. And some of the biggest industries in the future will be autonomous transport, AI, and humanoid robots. And we are all having a hard time. Just imagine what these three disruptions will do to our society. And Tesla is leading in them all. And they are all multiple trillion-dollar markets. And the Tesla bot could revolutionize labor in various sectors, from manufacturing to personal assistance. But this isn't just about replacing human labor, but enhancing it, creating new markets and expanding existing ones with AI-driven efficiency. I don't think any of us really have the imagination to see how big humanoid robots combined with AGI are really going to be. So it doesn't really matter what kind of PE ratio or earnings per share you want to give Tesla. We will all be wrong anyway. But one thing I'm pretty certain of is that Tesla will be a big player in all three, and Tesla's valuation is going to be out of this world. So this is why I personally think that investors who focus on current earnings rather than the future potential might underestimate Tesla's value by a million miles. And you can hate on Elon Musk all you want because of him being wrong when Tesla will solve full self-driving. Or you can hate him because he voted for someone you didn't like in 2024. But what you can't do is ignore Elon Musk's track record with Tesla, XAI, Neuralink, Boring Company, SpaceX, because that suggests he has a capability to turn visionary ideas into reality like no other, often beyond what the industry initially think is possible. His approach to AI, particularly with XAI and Tesla's Cortex, showcase this ability to push technological boundaries. And I even have a hard time imagining how big Neuralink is going to be and what they will be able to do. If you want to bet against Elon Musk because how he voted in 2024, be my guest. But so far, everyone that has been betting against this man has lost. Some even had to close down their headphones because of it. So if you want to try to understand Tesla and Elon Musk other companies, and why someone like me is so bullish on the companies, you have to try to think outside the box, trying to imagine what the future is going to be like and what technologies we might have, because yesterday's technologies is not going to help you. But even for me, that might have too good of an imagination and always a bit too optimistic about Tesla, well, I don't even have any idea what is coming exactly. I just think that what Elon said last week on X, that a tsunami of technology and innovations are coming from Tesla. It's going to catch most analysts off guard while they are busy trying to get Tesla's EP and PE ratio to fit in their little valuation model, and they will not even know what hit them. But most analysts are starting to get it, because don't forget, Tesla stock has been rising in 2024 despite a little decline in car sales. That does tell us that the market is slowly getting it. Tesla's car business will become more and more irrelevant, and Tesla will become a full-blown energy, AI, and robotics company. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.